Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today our feet are being stained green as we walk along the grasslands of Arabia in anticipation of a huge clash between Hera playing as the blue Hindustanis and Vinch playing as the purple Chinese. Now as the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the respective civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Hindustanis are a civ that pushes its players towards an army composition made up of gunpowder units and camel units. All Hindustani gunpowder units come with extra armor, and their hand cannoneers can be upgraded to get more range. Their camels also come with a few cool features. First, they have an attack bonus against buildings, which, believe me, is very, very good because it addresses one of my main concerns with camels in that they suck at destroying buildings. Second, camels attack 20% faster. And third, the Hindustanis have access to the Imperial Camel Rider, a fairly strong, very tanky, super fast, upgraded version of the heavy camel. Now, in order to defend their hand cannoneers on the field of battle from pesky ranged units that love to snipe hand cannons, the Hindustanis have access to a second unique unit, the Ghulam. This is an anti-archer infantry unit that moves quickly, has high pierce armor, comes with an attack bonus against archers, and whose spear can actually damage multiple units at once. Now, in order to support the quick production of these very expensive units, Hindustani villagers like these guys become progressively cheaper as the game goes on. They start in Dark Age being 10% cheaper, go all the way up to 25% off all villagers in Imperial, and the Hindustani economy can be upgraded to increase the speed of all gold income by 10%. So what that means is not only do gold miners work faster, but all trade generates 10% more per trip, and relics generate 10%, generate gold 10% faster. Now opposing the blue Hindustanis, we have Vinch playing as the Chinese, a very OP, OG, well-rounded civ whose economic bonuses and strong tech tree mean a player has a lot of options of how to crush his or her enemies. Now, to start with, all Chinese technologies get progressively cheaper starting in Feudal, all the way up to 30% cheaper in Imperial. Chinese farms start with 10% more food, and their town centers house 10 population room instead of the usual 5. And if you've ever played the Chinese, you know that you hit the ground running with 3 extra villagers, although that does come at a cost. You start with 200 less food and 50 less wood. Now, in order to defend your economy against raids, Chinese town centers come with extra line of sight, giving you a lot more time to garrison your units or defend them as you wish. And Chinese walls can be upgraded along with their towers to get 30% more HP. Now, on the field of battle, the Chinese can field all top-of-the-line infantry, although without supplies, be prepared to pay a little bit extra for your champions. Their foot archers and skirmishers are also quite strong, especially if you mix in their unique unit, the Chukanu, which is a foot archer that fires multiple arrows that can be upgraded to have even more attack. Now, while the Chinese cavalry line is, I would say, mediocre at best, Chinese siege can be a real pain in the ass to deal with since their scorpions can be upgraded to get +4 attack. Now, let's take a look, while I was talking, at the situation of the players. Both players still continuing to grow their base economies, both sitting at about the same villager count. Our Chinese player going up to 20, our Hindustani stuck at 18, although I'm sure that will change once Loom finishes research. Or no, never mind, he is going up to Feudal. Every time I say something is going to happen, the opposite happens. Let's take a look at Hera's base, see how he's situated. I don't like this base at all. Very open here. Very open here. His gold pile is very exposed, although it is on top of a hill, which is not terrible. Stone pile in the back, and lots of wood here. He's already making use of all these multiple sources of wood. Food also very exposed in the front. So, not a huge fan of Hera's starting position here. Although, that being said, let's take a look at Vinch. A little bit better off, I would say. His gold is in the back, his stone is on the side, secondary gold pile very exposed out here, but not a super hard wall off to the west, not a super hard wall off to the north, and the east is where he's completely open. Take a look at all of this open space here. So both players really are very, very open to any kind of raiding, Although I would give the advantage here to Vinch, not only again because the town center does have a +5 line of sight. Look how much further out from its range it can see compared to Hera's, which ends 1 tile here. Vinch's ends very much further away, but also because I think Hera's base is just going to be much harder to wall off. Lots of big open spaces, lots of annoying hills here that can be taken by Vinch to harass. That being said, both players are now in Feudal. Hera finally restarting villager production now that his town center is available for business. And let's take a look at what they build once they've hit Feudal, see what kind of direction they want to go. A stable going down for our purple Chinese, who has taken 2 wood lines for himself. Food is also in the back. I mean, Vinch's situation is so much better than Hera's, I think, based on how the resources and hills and just wood lines spawned in the game. That being said, we are talking about, I believe, the current #1 player in the world in Hera. And so when I say he's in a worse off position on his base, take that with a grain of salt. If anyone can defend an open space like this, it's definitely Hera, who is now moving out onto the map with 2 scout cavalry, a 3rd in production, a 4th in production, and a supporting spearman. We'll see if he decides to get aggressive with that spearman or if it's more of a defensive one to stick at home and defend against any kind of Chinese aggression. This villager is going to die. Amazing pickoff here by Hera, who saves both scout cavalry. 3 scout cav, 1 spearman, sorry, had a brain fart there. 1 spearman shoo this away, and now Hera has to return home. But my God, is he going to get a hero's welcome? These 2 scout cavalry having already picked off 1 villager. Amazing play. And now Vinch is going to discover the additional scout cav, although Hera did not move this spearman, so Vinch did not encounter him, although he might now. He might now. 1 poke. 2 poke. Look at that. 2 pokes is all it takes to get this scout cavalry down to below half HP. Incredible. Hera, very optimistic wall in here on the far west of his base. I mean, if this part comes under attack, how the hell is he going to defend it? Where the hell's the closest villager? Nowhere. And so we'll see how he does it if he comes under attack. For now, spearmen, like I thought, they're more defensive here to protect this berry line. Hera does not want to invest the resources into walling this off with any structures or palisades, and so a few wisely placed spearmen are going to be great. I would love it if he put 1 here too, although Vinch is nowhere close, although he is now coming. And as I said, Hera moves 1 of his spearmen to the north, although 1 spearman against 4 scout cavalry may not be the deterrent that Hera thinks it is. And he's got to run away. Poke and prod. Yeah, he's got to poke and run away. 2 of these scout cavalry basically on death's door. Another kill here for these 4. Okay. Kill count very much in favor of Hera with these 2 kills to the 1 of Vinch. What has Vinch killed? He killed a military unit, not a villager. So I'll do a picture-in-picture if I can find it, but also placing his spearmen on the berries to defend against any kind of scout cavalry aggression. And let's see, both players nowhere close to going up to castle. I wonder if this means we're going to see more feudal aggression, although both players have stopped at the 7 or 8 supply mark of their militaries. Hera trying to be more annoying with the scout cavalry trying to go in. The villager joins the fight, and now he's sandwiched between scout cavalry, but not a perfect sandwich. This is like the debate of a hot dog. Is it a sandwich? Is it not? Does it have to have an open side like this one did that allowed Hera to escape through the west? And now we have a scout cavalry chase happening, 5-4 in favor of our purple Chinese. This is where that 1 extra supply comes in very handy. Plus, I think Hera's 2 of them are knocking on death's door, although 2 of Vinch's are also. And here comes Hera with a 5th to level out the battlefield, and with the 1 spearman. Yeah, this aggression by Vinch here is donezo for now. And as both players have been maneuvering their scout cavalry, their skirmishers, their spearmen, take a look at their resources, both going up to about 600, 700 food. Hera a little bit ahead on gold, although with more villagers, Vinch will catch up very quickly. And right as I say that, he basically catches up. And the second these players hit the 800 food, 200 gold mark, let's see what Hera has built here. Okay, so he went with the stable and the blacksmith. which is fantastic for the Hindustanis. Like I said, camel slash gunpowder sieve, an archery range, and a blacksmith here for our Chinese player who's building another archery range. This one has one archer inside. Okay. Both players now going up to castle. Hera with a 13-14 second advantage. So not the end of the world for Vinch. Sorry, I don't know him well enough to call him Vin or Vinny. So I'll just call him by his name. One little love tap, and this blue Hindustani scout cavalry is now feeding the worms. But here comes Hera. He's going to try to sandwich. Are these? No, these are not full health ones. Loses another scout cavalry. Kill count now equalized at 3. Hera's still getting these berries. And now we're about a minute away from Imperial. Both players, not Imperial, Castle rather, both players getting archer upgrades in the meantime. But does Hera have? Yeah, he's got one archery range. I think that's the only one. Oh, Viper tries to Viper Gate, does not succeed. Although, why not garrison the villagers here? A few arrows here could have helped him out, but Vinch is running straight on into a wall, so he's definitely going to lose these two scout cavalry. Their HP is not great, especially with 2 spearmen coming, but he manages to pick off yet another one of Hera's scout cavalry. What fantastic micro here by Vinch. Runs away from the spearmen. Hera chases with his own scouts. And then the second he can, he turns around and just picks off Hera's scout cavalry. Amazing. Second town center going down for our Chinese player. Second and third going down for our Hindustani player. And let's see what they decide to do. Crossbow upgrades, bodkin upgrades. So yeah, we're looking at a good old-fashioned early castle archer war here. In 13 seconds, these archers are going to become crossbows. Although, yeah, whatever you are, do not cross the blue line. And there they are. They become crossbows with their cool metallic helmets. Even more streaming across the map. Vinch taking the villager lead, going up to 44 to Hera's 39, also going up to 44, though. So with an extra town center, Hera will definitely catch up in the villager count. And like I said, the Hindustani villagers at this stage of the game are now 20% cheaper. Imagine that. That's 20% cheaper. All that food that you save will definitely help if Hera decides to go any kind of military that requires food. For now, though, very skirmisher heavy. Is that how I want to say it? All these are going to become elites any second now. There they are. And now they're going to take very handily this battle against the crossbows if Vinch decides to engage, which he, of course, does not. Not his first time in the rodeo. And now he's bringing out knights. A second knight in production. You don't need that many knights to kill off elite skirmishers. So what is Hera building? Nothing to defend against the knights. He's getting a market so that he can balance out his economy, even though his resources right now are dog shit. Great placement for a town center, by the way. Wood access, stone access, good room for what? 6 or so, 7 farms around this. And Vinch is just being so annoying with his cavalry. Like I said, Chinese cavalry is lackluster at best. But Vinch is making it work. Plus, look at all this scouting that he's getting. He knows exactly what his opponent, he's seen all 3 town center. He's seen the market. He's seen the archery range. He's seen the farms. He's seen everything. What has Hera seen? Very little. Almost nothing beyond an initial scout here. In any event, the field of battle is in Hera's base, and he can't give up this hill. Especially not to the crossbows, especially not to 15 crossbows, going up to 20. This hill could be problematic for Hera, who's now finding himself on the back foot, I would say. He's investing very much into villagers, which not surprised because he's Hindustani, cheaper villagers. But at some point, you're going to have to make military too, right? You can't just go up to 11 elite skirmishers. Goliath Knight takes on 11 elite skirmishers, does nothing, takes a bunch of damage, and fucks right off to the gold pile. But this is what I was talking about. Look at Hera. He's lost control of his main gold pile. His second gold pile is outside the walls here. This is unsafe territory, unclean. And what is he going to do? He's got 0 villagers on gold. Whatever gold he has, he invested in buying a monk, or rather training a monk. Oh God, please don't pop out right as these knights pass by. Okay, so 3 knights, all these crossbows should be enough to get rid of these elite skirmishers, or at the very least, a bunch of them. Okay, decides not to sacrifice the knights, which would have happened with the town center, firing down on them. Not the best armor right now, only 3 at the moment. More archer upgrades going down for Hera. Almost no upgrades for our purple Chinese. He knows that his technologies, his upgrades are cheaper, right? Okay, building his own monastery. What have the players seen of the relics? Because it's very important for the Hindustani to get the relics, just like it is for the Aztecs, just like it is for the Lithuanians. 1, 2, 3 relics have been seen by our purple Chinese. Hera has seen 1 relic. This game is a very that's going to be a hard word for me to say. Uncharacteristic game for Hera. Number 1, I mean, if you've watched Hera, you know this guy play very aggressive, very good scouting, very good map presence. In this game, Vinch has kept him completely on the back foot, completely stuck inside his base. Vinch now sees yet another relic, or is this one that he saw before? I don't know. There's so much happening. I forget what I said 10 seconds ago. And where's Hera going with these elite skirmishers? Finally takes the gold. So like I said, very uncharacteristic here of Hera. Usually he's the one on the map. He's the one with the vision. He's the one who knows exactly where to poke and prod his opponent. But in this case, he's respecting Vinch very much by just sticking in his base, turtling up. And, you know, so far, I mean, he's weathered the storm. He's 90 villagers ahead to 76. And he's basically going to 100 villagers, although his military count not only is lower, but is also worse. A 4th town center going down next to the goal. Okay, so he wants a big old gold rush right now, going from 0 villagers to 8. Plus, I'm sure these 4, once they're done constructing the town center, will jump on the gold pile as well. Vinch very much wanting to keep tabs on Hera, as anyone would. You're playing the best guy in the world. You want to know exactly where his units are at all times. You do not want to get caught by surprise here with a bunch of Hindustani camels and other units surprising you. Very far outposts here. Where even is the villager to build this? Yeah, I don't even see where the villager is. I wonder if it's this one. Nope, never mind. He goes left, then deeks, and goes south instead. Okay, so both players at this point circling each other. Vinch put on a good amount of pressure, gets the high ground, gets the attack bonus against the skirmishers, but the skirmishers are retreating. Knights, will he get a convert? Yeah, Hera gets one of these knights, converts them, and now Vinch loses all 4 of his knights. Ugh, that is incredibly sour, but does he care? He is a minute ahead of Hera when it comes to going up to Imperial, and in the next 2 minutes, both players will be in Imperial. Oh, these elite skirmishers have to be careful. Monk is gone. His best tool against these knights. Silly here for Vinch to throw away a crossbow or 2. Not really necessary. And a very aggressive castle. I love this placement. King of the Hill Castle. There is no higher ground anywhere around. I don't think this part is higher ground. Fantastic placement here by Vinch. Lots of room in front to put Trebs if he needs to defend it. And as you know, the second any pro player reaches Imperial, first, it's always Treb production once they have their castles up. Okay, Thumb Ring, Bracer, economic upgrades going down. And of course, just as I say that, he reaches Imperial, builds a castle. Oh no, there he goes. There's the Treb. Okay. A market finally going down for Vinch. I guess he didn't have one before. Not a lot of production facilities here. What does he have right now? 2 archery ranges and 2 stables. But doesn't matter. He is back inside Hera's base with 2 knights. 1 potentially getting converted here. You see the sniper line from the monk. Oh, Hera has enough APM, enough skill to target the healthy knight. How many of us would have just clicked one of the 2 knights and just gone to another screen? No, not Hera. He finds the knight that has the most HP and converts it immediately. And now what is our blue Hindustani doing? No trebs for him. 5 villagers pulled off of their farms. You're on repair duty today. More elite skirmishers, more archer upgrades for our Hindustani. Vinch comfortably sitting at 100 villagers, but Hera has exploded to 122. He is supply blocked though at 155. More houses, more houses, more houses. Finally, 2 villagers on houses. But look at the gold explosion. 17 villagers on gold. With that, we'll see if he gets the upgrade. The name escapes me right now to get 10% more gold. Grand Trunk. Yes, Grand Trunk is the name of the upgrade. And Vinch very slowly, very methodically taking all the hills around Hera's base. This is a fantastic castle placement. Denies Hera the secondary stone pile. Oh, and these are now Arbalests. They with the high ground are going to shred through these skirmishers. I mean, he's going to lose a shit ton of them, but here come the Chinese light cavalry. Okay, wisely retreats. I thought the castles would have helped out a bit more. They did not. Hera now repairing this with how many villagers? 16 villagers pulled off the production line to deal with this very minor treb. Actually, never mind. I thought there were only 2. There are 3 trebs here. Where are you going with your skirmishers? Ugh. Okay, doesn't lose a single one. And now, finally, Hera getting melee upgrades. 7 camels, 2 bombard cannons in the works. One of the great... Oh! The Hindustani bombard cannon takes a treb ball to the face and goes splat. One of the great ironies of Age of Empires that you will see in every community post, every Reddit thread, every Facebook group. Why the hell do the Chinese not have hand cannoneers? Why the hell do they not have bombard cannons? This is the civilization that many people believe invented gunpowder. I don't know specifically the history of who did what, but yeah, that's essentially the irony. I wanted to turn that into a bigger issue, but no, it's just that they don't have gunpowder and they are known to have invented gunpowder. Now, I did read a very fascinating thread that once you upgrade your Chukanus, these guys, which I'm having trouble, as you guys all know, if you've seen my cast, I have a lot of trouble clicking on individual units. If you upgrade these Chukanus with rocketry, which gives them a +2 attack and gives your Scorpions a +4 attack, a lot of people online argue that basically replaces the hand cannoneer and the bombard cannon. Now, maybe hand cannoneer, just because, again, an elite Chukanu fires 5 friggin' arrows. I think the second, third, fourth, and fifth only do 3 damage, but that's still 12 extra damage. Or whatever the damage is, minus, you know, once it goes up against the armor of whatever unit it's attacking. But still, 5 projectiles, I've heard argued, is a replacement for gunpowder, so it wouldn't quote-unquote be fair to give the Chinese gunpowder. That being said, I don't know why, I don't care why, it is the way it is, and it's always fun to watch the Chinese play. Like I said, their economy, their cheaper technologies, their farm upgrades, it's just so much leeway. Unless you go cavalry, then then you're gonna lose the game against most civs. But everything else, man, the Chinese have a very good, I think they get all 15 upgrades in the blacksmith. 1 priest goes, 1 monk goes down, 2nd monk goes down, but does not get the bombard cannon, the juicy target. Although these light cav, will they get it? Action everywhere. Camels raiding the raiders. Light cav everywhere. He's going up to 18 light cav, is our purple Chinese player, who is not only threatening the front here, but also tickling at the edges of Hera's base. And Hera, take a look at the mini map at the bottom center of your screen. Hera has been constrained. Here we go. Heavy camel riders and heavy plow. It's the day of the heavy upgrades. Oh, these camels are going to shred through these light cavs. I think, what do they get? A +18 bonus against cavalry? Oh my goodness, or is it +9? I think it's +18. But quantity always has to be considered in Age of Empires. Quality is amazing, but quantity is also an equal factor. And if you just outnumber your opponent militarily, which Vinch is doing, 54 military to 31, upgrades become less and less relevant, attack bonuses become less and less relevant, and you can just overwhelm your opponent a la Goth style. Okay, light cavalry upgrade going down for our Hindustani player. Oh man, he is Hera's throwing away a bunch of camels. I mean, Hindustani camels are incredibly powerful once they get to an Imperial camel, but God, he lost a lot of camels. I think they're still cheaper than knights, but it still hurts. Oh, a fresh battalion, though, coming straight in. Vinch has to go back. Vinch has to retreat. His army supply lead has dwindled. He is now only less than 10 units ahead of Hera, where before he was double, basically. Oh, you got to run away. Repair some of these trebs. One of them is basically a stiff breeze away from dying. But yeah, as I was saying, let's take a... I'm going to zoom out. Again, apologies to anyone on a smaller screen, but take a look at Hera. He's been jammed into this corner. He's trying to break out with a castle here. Good placement. No high ground anywhere around except for where this one deer, this one elk is taking up residence. And now Vinch is raiding in the north. Vinch is attacking in the center. I don't think you need this many heavy camel riders to deal with these few light cav. And Vinch's supply is incredibly ahead of Hera's when it comes to military. 50 to 32. Hera is sitting at 152 villagers. Did he go full eco? He might have gone a little bit too full eco. I mean, his units are not that upgraded that they oh, heavy camel, conscription, blast furnace. Okay, so our purple Chinese wants to do a tech switch into camels, it seems like. I mean, I'm not going to say no to seeing Chukanus and camels take on Imperial camels and whatever the hell Hera wants to build, but I mean, Hera's supply of villagers is that he's going up to 161 villagers. I mean, if these were Imperial camel riders, and if he had fully upgraded hand cannoneers, like I said, with the +2 extra range that they can get, if he had the heavy units, I would say 40 or 50 of them are enough. But these are not those heavy units. These are camels that attack on a +1. He is not researching the second or even the third melee attack upgrade, although he is going to lose. Oh, the camels bypass. I was going to say lose the arbalests, but they bypass the arbalests entirely and focus immediately on the trebuchets instead. One treb goes down, two trebs go down. And now he's finally focusing on the units. No, right as I say that, turns around, gets a third treb. I mean, look how fast they're attacking. 20% faster. Oh god, those trebs did not stand a chance. Lost a lot of camels though in exchange for those trebs, but in my opinion, very much worth it. Vinch being incredibly annoying with 14 archer units. These are going to get a lot of kills on these villagers. Although does Hera care? He's going up to 150, even having lost 15 of them a second ago. And I like what Vinch is doing here, because Hera, I mean, he doesn't know what we know, that Hera's villager count is impeding his military count. I mean, look at Vinch. He can comfortably build 80 army supply to Hera's 50 once Hera finishes building these next villagers. Inadvertently, or maybe he knows, I don't know how, he must have amazing game sense. He's at a 25-55 elo, but by splitting up his army into little clumps of 15 to 20 units, he is really pushing Hera to the brink here. He is not engaging into one big death ball against another big death ball, especially against an opponent that has Imperial camels, although they are nowhere close to being researched. It is an incredibly expensive upgrade to get. Hera nowhere close to the resources necessary. Finally getting iron casting, but we're 50 minutes into the game. That should have been done at least 20 minutes ago. And what is Vinch doing here? Oh, finally teethed the last of Hera's stone. This gold pile, just to show you how much pressure Vinch has been applying this entire game. That original gold pile of Hera's is still in existence 50 minutes into the game. The best player in the world has not been able to mine his primary gold pile because of the incredible amounts of aggression being put on by our purple Chinese, whose army supply is now double at 64 to 32. Amazing. Where are these bombard cannons of Hera's? Only one left. Action everywhere. Chaos, destruction, buildings going down. But Vinch needs some kind of unit to take down buildings. Oh. Maybe he doesn't because Hera GG'd. So he's raiding to the west. He's got a camel inside Hera's base here. I'm assuming there were more units. I don't see any bodies. No, there's a few bodies here on the farms, soaking these farms. And then a thrust inward. I mean, I think Hera just had too many villagers here. I get the need to, you know, overcompensate with villagers, especially in a game where your primary resources were denied so well by your opponent that you're just building, and you know you're going to get raided. You don't have time to put up any kind of static defense here besides the one castle that looks like he just finished. Or no, sorry, that's Vinch's castle. I'm completely sorry. Hera has no way to defend his villagers to the west, to the northwest. There's a big clump of them here, completely exposed. And Vinch, I guess, knew that. And he knew that Hera's army supply was capped at a certain amount. And he just kept attacking. Building even a siege workshop very forward. Let's take a look. Wow, he really colonized the entire map here, the entire center. 2 archery ranges, 7 stables, 10 light cav in production. He's got 6 heavy camels of his own. Remember, the Chinese do not get paladins. They don't get hussars. So if they want a heavy-hitting cavalry unit, the camel really is the only way to go. But unlike the Hindustani camels and like almost all other camels in the game, they suck at tearing down buildings. They're just terrible at it. And so beyond this one Treb, what does he have? A monk is not going to damage. 2 spearmen. Oh, my goodness. Oh, relics of the past, the old guard. They're on retirement duty. They're just hanging out beside a stone pile, drinking and having fun all day, playing some backgammon. 6 camels, light cav. The Chukanus actually are great and can destroy buildings very quickly in a good enough number, which he has, 25. Where are they, though? Yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, Vinch is just spread out. Like I said, if he had engaged Hera directly in a one-on-one Deathball army versus Deathball army, it would have, I mean, obviously he would have won, but Hera could have taken a much more even engage. Hera, the king of micro, would have found ways to position his units in such a way that he dealt maximum amount of damage, but Vinch did not give him that opportunity. He's raiding all the time. He had, when he sent those 15 or 16 archers here, it was brilliant. I mean, Hera does not have the numbers to tackle multiple fronts, especially when a huge chunk of his army is in elite skirmishers. These units have one purpose: to kill archers. Beyond that, they're a waste of time. They're a meat shield. They don't kill cavalry. They don't kill trebs. They don't kill camels. They don't kill light cav, especially. Hera has no infantry coming forward. So, yeah, I think Vinch just played this perfectly against the situation. I don't know if it's because of all his incredible map vision, or if it's just because he got lucky, or if it's skill or game sense or whatever. But in any event, let's take a look at his map vision. Yeah, he sees so much of Hera's base. What does Hera see? Hera sees nothing. Hera's been completely constrained. And this just goes to my point of just a general principle. It doesn't matter if you're the best player in the world with 2,752 elo, or if you're just starting out at 950, or if you've kicked enough ass and made it all the way up to 13, 14, 1500. Map control really is a key element of any success, because map control does 2 things. Number one, it gives you vision. And if you have vision, you can see what your opponent is about to throw at you. You can see where he's going to throw it at you, and you can know how to counter it. And number two, it allows you to dictate the pace of the game. You think Hera could dictate the pace of the game here? With 100, I mean, now it's 113, but at one point he was going up to 160 villagers with 40 army supply against Vinch's potential 80. You think Hera had the, how do I put this? Hera had the luxury of sending 20 camels south to raid Vinch's base, which, by the way, is completely open. Vinch made zero attempt to wall off his base. And that's because he knew he was going to take map control, or at least try. If he had failed, I suspect we would have seen a GG at the 30-minute mark of the game, but he did not fail. Hera uncharacteristically shoved into his base here and unable to get that map vision, unable to get the map control. And this is really, I think this is, for me, the biggest indication of why Hera lost the game. When you can't even mine out your primary gold patch because your opponent has taken it, or has, you know, how do I put this, constricted control of it, and you now don't have access to it. Your secondary gold pile is also, or I guess this is the tertiary gold pile. But yeah, let's take a look at the economy. I just want to see Hera. No way he mined any even remotely close gold to, sorry, that's not English. There's no way he mined even remotely the same amount of gold as his opponent. Yeah, take a look at that. I mean, relic gold is the same. What are we looking at here? 400 difference. That's not really a factor. Look at this. It's about 4,700 more gold by our purple Chinese player. And that, I think, is really the most indicative of why we saw Hera GG in this game. And Vinch just masterfully took control of the map and the game. Let's take a look. 127 elite skirmishers against light cav. We know who wins this battle. Oh, APM, you freaking love to see it. 191, 225, very fast-paced game. Kill count. Oh, mama. Hera has killed more military units, but Vinch, with the overall kill count of 356, including 100 dead villagers. Not surprising. He was everywhere. And Hera, I think, just, yeah, I'm not going to say it a 9th time, a 10th time. Too many villagers, not enough map control, not enough resource control. I mean, he had, at some point, he had 0 miners on gold. When was that? Pretty late into the game. And so Vinch took advantage of the positioning of Hera's resources and said, you know what? Try to get this gold. Try to attack up a hill with your skirmishers and your camels against my Chukanus, my Treb, and all of my supporting units here. I mean, look at all the dead bodies. Oh, what a fun, beautiful game. Lots of carnage. Any game with over 600 kills is always fun, especially in the hands of these two amazing players. And overall, Vinch just masterfully takes control of the map, shoves Hera into a corner, and says, you are not escaping, and gets the W. But GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.